Good morning, students. Today we are taking our new chapter, that is chapter 2, Self and Personality. Previously we have done the intelligence chapter, and now we are going to talk about the other chapter of psychology class 12, that is Self and Personality. This is the most important chapter in your life or in your all over around development and also in psychology. If you want to make your career in psychology, this is a chapter which will make you help in this. So what is self and what is personality, and how these theories has been derived from self and personality, this is very important. So where first of all we take care of self. What is self? Self is something that holds about our one self. Means हम अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, what we think about our own self is called self. I, me, myself. I am this, I am a good girl, I am a helping in nature, I am very lazy at work. So these are my qualities and also my negative points, what I think that I am. You remember that in the previous one I have made a homework for you and tell you as an activity to write 10 sentences in which you think that I am what, right? Starting the sentences from I am. That is your self test. And it was a written test and which was conducted for your to know what are you from inside. Okay, what you think about your own self, that is the test all about. Okay, when we get to know about ourselves, our own self, it can be formed by different ways, whether from the environment, society reviews, or what sometimes we get reward or punishment. On that basis also we get to know our own self, or we make our qualities and negative point on the basis of that. After that, personality comes. Personality is derived from a Latin word, it is a Latin word which is known as persona. Persona means mask, relatively state pattern which make our behavior. A relative state pattern is known as something personality. But this personality theory, his first definition was given by Alport, which is the most appropriate definition, and it was given in 1948. 1948. The definition says that personality is a dynamic organization within the individual of those psychophysical system that determine his unique adjustment in his environment. What does this definition derive? That a person's dynamic organization, he is formed of so kind of organize himself in such a way, psychologically and as well as physically. If we see the personality, we see his physical appearance very first, and then about his thinking, and then we say that the personality is very attractive. Okay, first of all we go with the physical appearance, and then we take his complete overview by talking with him, his behavior, his acts, his response to the person, to the other person. All that is coming under psychophysical activity system, and that determines from his unique adjustment. Uniqueness is there. One person, Mr. A, have a personality difference with a Mr. B, then with C, then 3. That is come on type and trait, with that we will discuss in another video. But what the personality is all about, that how do we behave and how do we adjust ourselves in an environment, and what uniqueness an individual have is known as something personality. So on that basis Alport has defined his definition also, that personality is a dynamic organization within the individual of those psychophysical system that determine his unique adjustment to his environment. Okay, now personality Latin word persona means mask. You have to write and remember these three words. Then from personality we come to identity. What is identity? What a person identity is about. The identity is divided into two parts, that is personal identity and social identity. Personal identity is something related to self. How it is related to self? Because in this we are thinking about our own views, making the difference from other, which make us different from other. As I'm saying that I'm very helpful, this thing, this uniqueness make me different from other. Or more explaining in a more form, we say that I'm a teacher and I teach psychology. Now this thing differentiate me from other teachers who are teaching other subjects. Their specialization makes them different from other person. So they all have some specialization, special quality that is related to the personal self, and that personal self is making us different from other, and that make our identity, what we are actually. What does social means? In this, social means is something which link us in a group. For example, you are from any particular group. You think I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim. These things are differentiated, and these make also groups on the basis of what? Religion. On a basis of religion, the groups which are made are considered as social. Why? Because in this link, where we are linking a person on the basis of religion, that is relate with not only one person but more than two people. A group is what? Something more than two people. Huh? So that is something related with the social environment. Now the person from the identity, this also make your identity. This is your social identity, which you have been linked to a group. You are a psychologist, so your group will be under the psychology group. Okay, all the psychologists are sitting in one side. Their specialization is in over the mental health, so that is making them unique and different, and that it is in not only on one number of person but in different number of people, and that is their social group. Now after knowing the identity, come on the selves, other. It is personal self and social self, which I have told you that personal which make us different, and personal self is concerned about the self, and social self is concerned about the other. When we are thinking about other people, what other are saying, that is something social self. These social selves are your family, your relatives. Your family would be saying you something, or your relatives would say something like you should not do this. How do people react? What does people say? This perspective is wrong. So on that basis we make our own views. Yeah, the person 3 was saying me that my behavior towards the other person is not right. I think I couldn't behave properly in a social environment. That make a negative perspective of ourselves, and that is our social self, which was formed by the other point of view. Okay, someone is praising you, encouraging you, reinforcing you for good, motivating you, then your personal self will become in a positive way. Okay, and simultaneously your self and in social level, because your relatives and family friends are saying good to you, then it also become a good perspective personality in front of them. Okay, in this social self, the self is also subjective and objective. Subjective self is something, the doer active self, means the one who is doing something. When you are doing something, when you are acting in a way, that is called the subject form, and that is something does actively. On the other hand, the self who is doing objectively, and that is a receiver, and it is in passive. This is always in a negative form, and this is in a positive form. Okay, so this always remember that this subjective is in positive form and objective in a negative form, because he is the receiver. He is the one who is getting something negative. Okay, and doer is the subject who is actively working. For example, in a group of 10 people, one person is acting like a leader. He is commanding other. So he is the subject because he is commanding, that is his action, and that's an active form. Other group member who is getting dictated by him, his dictatorship, who is getting receiving his dictatorship, they are the receivers, and they are the in a passive form because they are not showing their own actions, rather than they are receiving other person's actions. So that is something related to the objective form, and that both are related with the self in a social self only, because a social self is not made of one person, they are made up of different people, right? After going with this, you go through the introduction section, that is of self only. That is, we are some important terms of self, that is self-esteem, self efficacy. What are they? So we are going to take the pattern of that. I'm not rubbing the definition because it will help you out to know what it is actually personality is. But now the important terms are self concept. Okay. Second, self esteem. You see, na? The person's self esteem is very high. The self concept is something which is related to our own self. Self efficacy, and then self regulation. Okay, so I just write it properly. Regulation. Okay, what are these important 4 terms you would like to know? The first term is self concept. Self concept is something, can be positive, can be negative. As we have been doing that in self, we are making a personal self and social self. The social self is related with our self concept, which we are making on our own idea, on our own thought, and that is self concept, that is positive or can be negative also. Why it is positive or negative? Because in these we hold an idea for our own self. In this, the idea for own self, and this idea is formed by own review when it is can be positive, or can also be formed with the other person or the second person's review. Like other person, for example, your friend is saying that the red color is not suiting you, this red color dress not suiting you, the other, whether it is your favorite color, but still you get a mindset that this color doesn't suit because your friend said so. Okay, the other time when the color comes in front of you, you will not select that dress and select another color of dress. Why? The review come to you and you are thinking now yourself that I am not so beautiful in, or I am not looking so beautiful in this color. So you get a negative comment about the color also, and as well as for your own self also. So that is something related to own and the other review self. And own self also, we make something, the idea we make for ourselves on the basis of the reviews. For example, you given some exam, first semester exam आपने दिए, and in that exam you didn't get good marks in mathematics. What review will be formed? That I am not good in maths. Another time, when any other child, say you, whether he is younger than you or you have done the same subject, maths in the year of 8th class, he will say you that explain me this. You will say that I'm not so good in maths, so I won't be able to explain you. That is something related to the review of your own self, why you experience a negative point in yourself. Okay, you find out something negative. Simultaneously, in the same subject, math, second semester, first semester you didn't get, in second semester you get good marks, you got 90 in maths. Now you get so much confident that you can explain to your fellowships also, your fellow ones, your classmates also. If anybody in your class get any problem, you will say, don't worry, come to me, I will explain you, I know this sum. Why? This confidence come with the percentage of marks, that yes, I can do better and I can do good in this subject also, in the math subject also. So that become a positive review. Understood? Now this is something self concept. The other term, which is it is self esteem. What is self esteem? The judgment of own worth. The judgment of own worth means it is related something to self confidence. Okay, how much confident you are for your own self, that is something, the self esteem. When you have a worth power, like you have made a good concept for yourself, and then you think that yes, you can do this good, so your own judgment for your own self become positive, and you get confidence. You get 90 marks in maths, so your confidence increased now. That is your self esteem, which has given a high. When you get not getting good marks, you are getting some or other problem, then the self esteem decrease, because you are not getting the good marks. The person who are having a high self esteem, they always react positively for their self in negative situations also. Okay, he think always that he is the best. Okay, now comes to self efficacy. What is self efficacy? Controls one's situation. When we able to control our own situations, in any situation, wherever we are, negative, positive, we able to control the environmental situation for ourselves and able to control our behavior, then the self efficacy arise. This is something related to our will power. In short term, or in a lenient language, we can say a willpower. A person know that he is having a bad habit of smoking. If he has a good willpower, if his self efficacy is strong, he will able to leave it in a few days only. Just the thing is to make a mindset that yes, I can leave this, I have a willpower and this is bad for my health, I can leave smoking, he will leave it. Okay, so that is something related to self efficacy. When your own controlling situation power is strong, your power of controlling situation is strong, which is known as willpower, then it is called self efficacy. Now come to self-regulation. Self-regulation is very important term, because whenever some or other habit which is formed is being developed, that is being regulated only by your habits, and that habits is done by self-regulation. And then self-regulation can be monitored, okay, can be monitoring of what? Monitoring of behavior. Okay, monitoring of behavior by observing. You have to observe your own self. Okay, you have to observe your own self, and then observation is very important in this. Then self instruction. You have to instruct yourself that I will not do this habit. Instruction. And then comes self reinforcement. Self reinforcement. Reinforcement is something related to reward, and that reward can be positive also, negative also. Sometimes we have to give a negative reward, sometimes we have to give ourselves a positive reward. That we will explain. I will explain you in another class, but still I will explain you these terms, how this self-regulation works. Self-regulation is something related to monitored ourselves. When we monitor ourselves, that this our behavior, that this thing should be done, this should not be done, we do some kinds of observations. We find out no, that these are my good habits, these are my bad habits. So all that terms are related to monitoring the behavior. You can monitor your friend's behavior, seeing him that what he is doing good, what he is not doing good, what she is acting for a positive manner or not with the elders. So that is observing the behavior. When you observe the behavior, the observation which has been done, that is self instruction. You instruct yourself over the observation that this is my bad habit, the smoking is my bad habit, now I have to leave smoking. So you instruct yourself, whenever somebody offer me smoke, then a cigarette, I will not take it because it is bad for my health. So that is instructing your own self. And then come to self reinforcement. Once you instruct yourself, you do not take the smoke, okay, you do not do the smoke, then you reinforce yourself in a positive manner. It will indulge yourself and you get good confidence. Your self-esteem will increase, your self-esteem will increase, your self-efficacy will work, and this will help you to remove that one bad habit. Once ever try it once in your life, whenever you get a time, you observe your own habit. Anyone, for example, you are very lazy, you are not able to get up early in the morning, then take it in habit, take that as an observation. Now instruct your own self. The day before, the night before you are going to bed, you instruct yourself that tomorrow at 7:30 rather than 10:30, 7:30 I will rise. Just take a gap, okay? Then see that you will rise up at 7:30, and on that make yourself reinforce yourself in a positive manner. Cherish yourself with any chocolate or something, so that yourself will get confidence that yes, you can rise at 7:30. The other day also do the same. It's not once you do and then on the time it will be, because it was your something a bad habit and it will take a time to change. So you have to instruct yourself slowly and steadily, your time will change. Similarly, this is just an example. Similarly, you just observe your bad habit and then instruct yourself, then reinforce it for a good thing, and if it doesn't, then reinforce in a negative form. Okay, so that is something self-regulation. When we regulate ourselves, we get to work on our own habits and we can change it. Understood? So this is something, an introduction section of yourself and personality. Now you have to take care and just read the instruction part, the introduction part about the terms and definition. Write the definition of personality, self-concept, self-esteem, self-efficacy and self-regulation. All these definitions should be written in your notebook, okay? And what does the self itself term about, that all is given in your book, and I will also give you the note after completing this chapter. Okay, thank you friends, and thank you student, take care.